We're gathered here today because I have to make an apology to someone. I have to apologize to the cream in your coffee, your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler, the Jewish canon, the physical embodiment of charisma, the most entertaining man in professional wrestling, the Bernie Sanders of professional wrestling, the best of the best, Mr. Americarana, Davey Wrestling, the 104-minute man, the main event. He's really good at Twitter, the king of taunts, the product, David Starr. Now, David, I really apologize because I found out recently that I wasn't even following you on Twitter. And that's a shame. Everyone should follow David Starr on Twitter.
It's true.
So I hope you accept my apology and that I can be forgiven and I can continue my life on Twitter and empower Bob-Omb girls. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to Power Bob-Omb Girls. You're back with us. I'm Sam.
I'm Kyla.
And let's just jump right into our top 5 matches of the last 2 weeks because I know we have some good ones for you guys. So, since last time I made Kyla do hers first, I will read mine off first this time. So, in order from descending order, my number 5 match was Riptide Wrestling Brighton Spirit Night 1, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Chris Ridgway. My number 4 match was Trevor Lee versus Shane Strickland at AAW Chaos Theory. Number 3 was Joey Janela versus Randy Myers at Defy from April 19th. Number 2 was Hiramu and Bushi versus El Desperado and Kanemaru for the junior tag titles on the Road to Dontaku shows. And then number 1 was, it's probably going to make people mad because they're going to be like, Sam only likes comedy matches, was from Riptide Wrestling Brighton Spirit Night 1 also, and it was Lifeguard David Starr versus Chuck Mambo.
I approve of all of those matches. I have the same ones, no, I'm just kidding.
The exact same order and everything.
Alright, so now my number 5 is from Rev Pro that was released recently. It's Kota Ibushi, Shane Strickland, and Flip Gordon versus Chuck Taylor, Rocky Romero, and Will Ospreay. My number 4 is from AAW's Chaos Theory, which is Shane Strickland versus Trevor Lee. My number 3 is from New Japan's Dontaku.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it either.
It's Will Ospreay versus Kushida. My number 2 is from Road 2, which is Juice versus Goto. And then my number 1, which is surprising to everyone, Jay White versus Finlay.
I'm shook. I would have never guessed that you even liked Jay White.
I know. It's such a surprise. Everyone doesn't think I like him, but, you know, he's growing on me.
What are you gonna do? Knife perverts are gonna grow on you. Okay. So, which one? Do we have any in common? Besides Trevor Lee
We
and
have
Shane?
Shane and Trevor.
Okay.
That's it.
Let's talk about that one first then.
I'll let you begin on that one.
Okay. Sounds good. Let me just find it, because I'm a disaster. Okay. So, I really love Trevor Lee and Shane Strickland, and I actually didn't even know that this match was on this card. I was watching it, and I was really happy because Trevor Lee came out, and then I was even happier because Shane Strickland's music hit, and I was like, oh, cool, I get to watch 2 of my favorite wrestlers beat each other up. So I was really excited as soon as I heard Shane's music. But one of my favorite spots just right off the beginning is just, like always, when Trevor Lee is at AAW, and he's just on the ring apron basking in the hatred and booze that he gets. Because, let's be honest, that's a serious mood. I love Trevor Lee.
Only Trevor Lee can get, like, racist chants. Like,
That's the second time now, at least as far as I know, where he's accused Shane Strickland of bringing a gun or a knife to their matches. And both times he's earned "that was racist" chance. So, Trevor Lee, what are you doing? But one of the best spots actually came out of that, in that Shane Strickland went out to the crowd and got frisked down to prove that he didn't have a gun. So it was really funny. It was a good, lighthearted spot to start off the match that I really liked. And I just love the heat that Trevor Lee gets just from talking and being a general cocky asshole of a human being when he's a wrestler. Which leads to one of my points where I could listen to Trevor Lee talk and cut promos all day, which is a fact. I'm one of the only ones. Whenever I'm at AEW, I'm always ready for a Trevor Lee promo, and everyone else is yelling at him to shut up, like you should. But I am that moron. So, another thing I liked a lot is that at AEW, for people who don't know, all of their matches are typically no DQ, so there's no rules, really. There's no countouts, nothing like that. But when wrestling is in matches, they require rules because they're prima donnas, and we love them. And so Trevor Lee is very strict about them enforcing his wrestling rules, unless it applies to him. And then he yells at the ref every 5 seconds that he knows what the rules are, and he doesn't need to be told them. But, yeah, I don't know. Shane Strickland is insanely smooth in the ring. It's why I know we both started liking him so much right off the bat when we first got into indie wrestling. But every time I watch him, it, still shocks me, how smooth all of his transitions are for his moves and how fast he is. And Trevor Lee is really good at, countering into really smooth submissions. Kind of reminds me of Zack Sabre Jr. in that way, so yeah, it was a really cool match.
I don't know who did it, but somebody, they were going to do, a suplex, and they turned it into an armbar, and I was just, blown away.
Yeah.
I think it was
Shane. I think
Shane
I have that. Yep, it was Shane. Shane did a butterfly suplex into a submission lock, and he had Trevor in an armbar, which he then transitioned to Trevor's arms behind him. And I don't know if you guys have seen Shane Strickland matches. There's one move he does that's, sickening to watch. And, I hate it, but I love it, and I didn't want to see it, but it's such a good spot where he snaps their arm back, and it looks like he breaks their arm.
Yeah, and I actually made a comment about this because Davey Vega was on commentary, and he's, trying not to throw up, and I was just Vega trying not to throw up is me because of that spot,
Yeah. I was
watching it. The worst one was Matt Riddle, I will say, though.
That one was nasty looking. But I was, watching, and I knew he was going to do it, and I was I don't want to watch this, I don't want to watch this. And then he did it, and it sounds so gross every time. And Trevor Lee sold the fuck out of it, and I was oh, Shane is definitely going to win. And then at the last second, spoiler alert, Trevor Lee was playing possum and really playing it up, and he low blows Shane Strickland and rolls him up and puts his feet on the ropes and cheats to win because wrestling rules. And I really liked the finish, actually. I'm always down for, a kind of shitty, heel finish, if it suits it. If it's not, you guys know what I'm talking about. I won't go into things. But you've seen some WWE finishes. This one actually, played to the story between them. So, there's another match between them at LaSalle a few months after this that will be on High Spots, I'm sure, soon. And it kind of called back to a few of these spots, so I'm pretty excited for that one to come out, too. But it was a really good match. My favorite moment was definitely that butterfly suplex, though, like you were saying, into the submission lock. I didn't even know Shane Strickland could do that. I've never seen him, transition that fast from a suplex to a submission. It was awesome. Shane Strickland is my favorite. He's probably one of the best wrestlers on the entire independent scene, and if you're not watching him, I don't know what you're doing with your life.
The man's going places, and you're going to be left in the dust.
Yeah. I also gave this match 4.5 out of 5 stars. I'm not Dave Meltzer. My star ratings are just based on how much I enjoyed it. And the reasoning it only got a 4.5 for me, because I really loved it, was I did not get to see a Trevor Lee double stomp. So you gotta deduct that half star. It almost happened, and I was real excited. And then Shane got away. So, way to go.
Did Shane even do his double stomp in the match?
No, there were no double stomps, so I had to get rid of that last little half.
I approve of you getting rid of that last star. We were deprived of our double stomps.
Yeah, I could have at least gotten a Shane Strickland swerve stomp. That's like my favorite move, is a really good double stomp, if you guys don't know. So, I'm always really excited to see either of them wrestle, so I was like, fine, don't give me what I want. Just kidding. They did. It was a really good match. They did give me what I want for the most part.
Let's have Trevor and Shane in a 60-minute Iron Man match of just double stomps. That's the only way you can win.
Just double stomps. I did literally put, I could watch these two in an hour-long match. Like, that's an actual comment that I have. Like, I really enjoyed watching Shane and Trevor go, like, head-to-head, one-on-one. They suited each other's styles really well. And
yeah.
Shane has, like, such a cool, like, calm charisma. And Trevor Lee is such an angry, like, little mess. Like, it just plays off each other really well. And I love how cocky Trevor gets anytime he does, like, a good move. He's, like, flexing and cheering for himself. Just like last time, like, that's just what he does. And Shane just gives him, like, a dirty look, and it was perfect. I really like their back and forth between each other. So, that one was a good one for me. Do you have anything else to say about that one?
Nope, it's just a dream match that I didn't know I needed until now.
Yeah, that's literally how I felt. Also, I just looked at one more note, so I guess I'll read it, even though it's embarrassing. So, all I put, it's not that embarrassing, is when Trevor Lee does a deadlift German suplex and Angel gets its wings. Because that's how I feel. I love that move, anytime anyone does it, but Trevor Lee doesn't look like he'd be, like, insanely strong, so then he busts shit like that out, and you're like, alright, cool, fuck it up, Trevor. So, alright, on to the next match. So I guess I'll start with my number 5 one really fast. This one's just kind of fast. This is another one. I've actually never heard of Chris Ridgway, so full disclosure, me and Kyla are still catching up on figuring out some of, like, the British indie wrestlers for, like, Progress and Riptide and everything, so we're newer, so bear with us. We apologize if we don't know the full backstories and stuff yet. But they came out, Zack Sabre Jr. got a huge pop. The crowd loves him. Understandable. They're in England, and he's the best wrestler in the world. Fight me on it, I don't care. But it was really cool. Yeah, no one knows that about me, I don't know. But the crowd was like a really hot crowd at Riptide. It was an awesome crowd the entire night. But
I agree.
Yeah, they were stoked about Zack Sabre Jr., so it was really cool. And it started off with a really awesome, super fast-paced sequence with, like, some submissions and, like, arm drags and just general craziness. That was really cool. And one thing I noticed is Zack Sabre Jr.'s, like, strikes are getting better. Not that they were bad before, but, like, now when he, like, uppercuts people, I'm like, ow. I feel like I can feel it. And I'm like, damn. Try not to take their head off. But, yeah, Zach is smooth as fuck, like always. When doesn't Zach transition super smoothly from, like, any move in the world into a submission sequence? He's the best. And his kicks are fucking insane. Like, I was slightly concerned that Chris Ridgway was going to have a caved-in chest at one point, because Zach was just, like, bouncing off the ropes and, like, penalty kicking the fuck out of his chest. And I was like, Chris Ridgway is going to need, like, surgery to, like, bring his chest back out. Like, his kicks are crazy. I don't know.
He could literally murder someone with his kicks.
Literally. And everyone's like, oh, Zack Sabre Jr. is so skinny. He's not believable that he would hit hard. Like, watch him fucking penalty kick people. And then tell me that you would get that done to you because he's skinny. You wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, it was a super fast-paced match. They ended up winning. Chris Ridgway and his friends. I forgot their names. But they're mean. They're not nice people. They're really good heels. And they're torturing poor Jack Sexsmith. And I'm sad about it. And I don't know anything about the story. But I'm still sad. So fuck them. It reminds me of like a Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa thing, minus, I'm thinking, as long of a friendship. But Jack Sexsmith seems like a really good face. That's just me cutting that in. It was a super fast-paced match, though, and they won through cheating. So, another cheating finish, but I was okay with it. Like, it worked. And it made me want to watch more between Zach and those three, because I want to see him get revenge and just beat their ass. So, yeah, that one was like a quick one, but it was really good. I mean, they had some really, really good sequences between the two of them, and they put on a really good show to close it, especially after a really solid Riptide card. I didn't think anything could top the David Starr Chuck Mambo match, and it didn't, but this one was really good. So if a Zack Sabre Jr. match can't top your match for me, you know it was a really good match, because Zack Sabre Jr. tops everything for me usually.
Yeah, it's always Zack Sabre Jr. over everyone.
It's literally my life motto, pretty much. And then my number 3 match was actually another one of the ones that was our match of the day, so you can go find it really easy on our Twitter if you wanted to. Just look it up quicker. It was Joey Janela versus Randy Myers at Defy. And one thing about Defy and Riptide, so I'll just kind of sandwich them in there, they have, like, the best video and production quality for, like, any wrestling I think I've ever watched. Like, at first, it took some getting used to for me when I first watched Defy, and I was like, sometimes they're zoomed in too close and I feel like I'm missing moves, but it looks beautiful. It looks like you're watching an art film of wrestling, and me being the art hoe that I am, like, I love it. I love watching Defy and Riptide now.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, it's very cinematic, whereas other wrestling promotions are more like sports kind of feel. Like, this one's more like, wow, I'm watching like an action movie, which doesn't tone down the wrestling at all. It makes it like really interesting to watch. It's something new.
It almost like adds to the stories in the ring, because like the way they do the camera work like lends itself to telling that story, whereas like AAW, which I love, just has that really classic like kind of underground, like, indie vibe, where it's just like, okay, they're in a small place just kicking ass. But Defy, for being, like, a smaller venue, it looks like, it feels huge when they film it, because that's how they do it. And it's really cool. But Randy Myers, not a lot of people, I feel like, talk about him as much as they probably should. He's amazing. I think he mostly works out of Defy. Maybe we'll spotlight him in a future one, because he's someone that I feel like would be really cool to tell people about more. But people are sleeping on Randy Myers. He's a really good character, and he's really good in the ring. And this match proves he can take a beating. I hear he has another really good match with Sami Callihan that I would assume he probably took a beating as well. But him versus Joey Janela was a little bit insane, like you would expect from a Joey Janela match. Like, if you don't get insane with Joey Janela, it's not a Joey Janela match usually. But it started off...
I hate that I missed this match, because I heard such good, like, stuff from you and from, like, Casey and stuff, and I'm like, I really should have sat down and watched it, but I didn't.
Yeah, you can watch it later. Just watch it later. It's okay.
We've got to make another apology now.
No, you're okay. You'll watch it later. I'll make sure she watches it, guys, don't worry. But it started off kind of slower, with just really good, like, strike sequences, and them just trying to beat the fuck out of each other, basically. And then it slowly devolved into, like, that Randy Myers, Joey Janela madness, where Joey got pissed and then brought in chairs and, like, turned up the crazy factor. And as usual, Joey Janela takes ridiculous, insane bumps every match. And he took about, like, 10 in this match, including one where he first brought the chair in and set it up with Randy Myers sitting on it to do a senton off the top rope. And of course, Randy moved, and Joey Janela went, like, neck and back first and just flattened a steel chair. And it looked awful, but it was badass, I'm not gonna lie. And then Randy almost got counted out, but ended up diving back in really gracefully, and Joey got pissed, so he just left the ring and started raining chairs into the ring. Just, like, throwing chair after chair through the air to the point where it was, like, hitting lights above the ring and, like, bouncing in, and then he made a chair mountain in the ring. And as is usually the case, like, when you bring the items into the ring, you're going into those items. The other person is never going to actually go into those items. Like, it never works out for them. So,
spoiler alert to everybody that brings items into the ring.
Yeah, use your head. Be like Zack Sabre Jr. Just don't bring chairs in, because you're gonna end up on them. But he did hit a pretty good, like, brutal pile driver on Randy on the chair mountain, but it didn't do shit. And Randy bounced back up because he's the weirdo hero and he's a tough motherfucker. And so then Joey laid a chair on Randy's chest and double stomped him from the top rope. And Randy, instead of just kicking out, lifted up his arm and gave him the finger. And it was such a good spot. I loved it. But it ended on a really brutal chair spot where Joey put 4 chairs together with their backs all lined up and laid Randy on it. So again, you know Joey Janela landed back first on top of that. And it was horrible to watch. I know he's gone off a roof into, like, burning glass panes and light bulbs, but, like, I hate chair spots on the spine. I hate them. But I also love watching them, so I'm sick. But yeah, it was a great match. They beat the fuck out of each other and put on a really awesome, crazy match. And I loved it. So definitely check it out. It was my match of the day a few days ago for a reason. It's just really awesome. And check out Defy in general. They put on a lot of really good stuff. There's another match you can watch from them. That was match of the year last year for them with Shane Strickland and Leo Rush that I also did as a match of the day. Check it out. And then, this one should be surprising to no one as well, because if you know me, you know Hiromu is, like, my New Japan favorite, besides Zack Sabre Jr. And so, I really loved the junior tag title match. It was actually the first New Japan title match that I watched, because I was really behind, and I still haven't watched some other ones that I won't mention which ones, because people will kill me. But this was a great one. Hiromu and Despy is, like, the number one feud that I want personally right now, like, in wrestling, period, but especially in New Japan. Like, give me a Hiromu and Despy singles feud for the junior title. I'm sorry, Will Ospreay, I don't want you to have it. I want one of them to have it, so that they can have their feud like they deserve. Book it, Gato. Stop being a fucking coward.
Coward.
Such a coward. Give me Hiromu vs. Despy. The people want it. But anyways, one really cool spot that kept happening with them, like, this was like cheating paradise. Like, if you put LIJ and Suzuki-gun in a ring together, it's just gonna be who out-cheats the other one most of the time. But it was just them cutting in and interfering the whole time. But Hiromu used Kanemaru interfering to cause Despy to actually head scissor toss Kanemaru out of the ring, which was a really cool spot, and I haven't really seen Hiromu do something like that recently, at least, that I can think of. So it was cool watching him be crafty and causing Despy to hurt his own partner. And then Bushi came in and decided to interfere and help Hiromu beat down Despy, so it was cool. It was just them back and forth, basically jumping in and hurting each other. And Taichi's bitch ass was on commentary, and as soon as I saw him, I was like, this motherfucker, I know Taichi is going to interfere in this match, and he's going to come in and help Suzuki-gun, because that's what they do. And sure enough, the second they go out of the ring, Despy asks Taichi for help, and so he comes and hits Hiramu with the chair. Fuck you, Taichi. I love you because you're in Suzuki-gun, but you're a fucker. And then we had a really great power battle, like, sequence between Despy and Hiramu to see who was going to overpower the other into a suplex. And Hiramu ended up winning that struggle, but when he goes to tag in Bushi, Kanemaru pulled Bushi off the apron, which I probably should have seen coming, but, like, in the moment, you were so wrapped up in what was just happening between Despy and Hiramu that it was, like, gut-wrenching, because Hiramu was taking a beating for a long time before that happened. But then Bushi finally got tagged in, and he charged into the corner, and, well, he missed Despy charging into the corner, and tossed him into Kanemaru, and double head scissored both of them at once, and it was awesome. Bushi's probably, in my opinion, the most underrated member of LIJ. You never see people giving Bushi enough love, and it's kind of sad, because
It really is.
Because Bushi's so talented, and he gets, like, lost in the shuffle because LIJ has such strong personalities. And then they have Sonata, who's, like, one of the most handsome men on the planet. And, like, give Bushi love. He works on badass masks for you, and comes out looking like a fucking awesome luchador. No one gives him love. I love Bushi.
It's like they only give him love during the matches, and then, like, afterwards they're like, don't know who that is. I'm just like, how dare you.
I'm guilty of it too, because I'm always, like, Hiramu's biggest fan, but Bushi does deserve a lot of credit. He is a very solid member of LIJ, and he's always helping them out and being a workhorse. But Despy had a really cool move, and he caught a head scissor attempt from Bushi, because there were, like, a shitload of head scissor attempts, and he turned it into a really awesome submission spot. I can't remember what the exact submission was, because I accidentally watched this with Japanese commentary, because I didn't realize there was English commentary, but it was a really cool spot. Despy's another one. I love watching Despy. He is so good in the ring, and he gets lost in the shuffle as well, I feel like, sometimes, for Suzuki-gun, because they also have really strong personalities, but I feel like lately he's been more up front and center for them, especially being tag team champions, so that was really cool. And then, not to go on too long, basically, there was a sequence that was so irritating, though, where, Kanemaru ran in and blinded Hiramu, I believe? Let's see. I have it. Yeah, Kanemaru ran in and he blinded Bushi literally in front of Red Shoes. In front of him. I don't even know what Red Shoes was doing. So, apparently he was just spacing out and not doing his job, because he was watching it. He watched it happen, didn't do anything. It was just like, alright, cool. And I was like, alright, well now they're gonna lose because Despy hit his finisher on Hiramu. And Hiramu kicked out, so I was really excited. And then Bushi runs in and blinds Kanemaru in front of Red Shoes again. Like, directly in front of him. And Red Shoes just was like, I don't even care. Fuck all of you. I've had enough cheating already by this point. Fucking blind each other. Red Shoes didn't give a fuck. I was just like, what is Red Shoes doing today, honestly? But there's a really cool spot with Bushi and Hiramu where they did an assisted suplex onto Despy, and then Bushi hopped out and suicide dove onto Kanemaru, and I was really excited and thought maybe, just maybe, Hiramu and Bushi were gonna win the titles. But no. They actually lost, but it's okay. It furthers the feud, and I can never get enough Bushi and Hiromu. I really want that feud, if you can't tell. So, it was cool. They won through cheating, like always. They distracted Red Shoes. This time he wasn't watching, I'll give him credit. And grabbed the tag titles, and Despy planted Hiromu on it. And at first I thought they split him open, but it was just his hair, like, stuck to his head awkwardly. But it looked like it was, like, blood on his face. And I was like, I know, they did not just cut open Hiromu, but they didn't. But yeah, they won. Despy is a cheating little bastard, and I love him. And I'm still glad that he has the titles, but I want Hiromu and Bushi to win them soon. So, that was my favorite of the New Japan title matches that I've seen so far. But I've been slacking. I've been starting a new job, so I haven't had as much time to watch. So I haven't seen a good portion of them. Including Okada and Tanahashi, so whatever. Just fucking attack me, it's fine. I also didn't get to watch Jay and Finlay yet. But they were good. Let's move on to my number one.
I'm not gonna let you go down alone on that. I haven't watched Okada versus Tanahashi either, so we'll both go down. Everyone can hate us.
Everyone hates Powerbomb Girls now. We're the worst. Sorry.
Everyone quits watching.
Right, we lose all of our followers. Sorry, guys. We'll watch it eventually, I promise. But it's like an hour long. I was up till 4 a.m. last night. I didn't have time. So, the number one match, I know Kyla also loved it because I watched Riptide Wrestling and this match because of her. Because she was like, hey, I know you love David Starr. This one, he's a lifeguard. And that's all I really needed for me to be like, alright, cool, sign me up.
I think that's literally what I texted you. I was like, David Starr as a lifeguard, slow motion running.
She did. And I was like, what match is that? Sign me up, please. And so, it was my favorite. It was so good. Not just because David Starr was, like, in lifeguard swim trunks and slow motion running, but because it was great. Like, I had not actually ever seen Chuck Mambo in a match before. I love him. Like, I need more Chuck Mambo in my life. In my life. I don't know how to talk, guys. I'm sorry. It's really early. I need more Chuck Mambo in my life as soon as possible because he was great. He's really fun to watch. Really talented. And super charismatic. Like, I could just watch him, like, making goofy faces and being funny probably for, like, an hour. So this was a great match. I don't know
where he's been all my life, but I'm glad he's in my life now.
Yeah, like, I loved him from, like, the second he walked out. Like, just his personality alone I was like, okay, I really like this guy, I hope he's good. And he was. He was great. So, definitely gonna be checking out as much Chuck Mambo as I can, because it was such a good match. My favorite matches are ones where you can kind of intersperse really good wrestling sequences and, like, hard-hitting, like, sequences and submissions with good comedy. And this one, like, delivered. Like, it was so funny. It started off with David Starr's list being read, but in all, like, lifeguard and swimming terms. And then he laid out rules that they weren't allowed to dive, no running around the ring/pool area, no eating. Just ridiculous things because he was concerned with Chuck Mambo's safety. It wasn't to get a leg up. He wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do that. We know David Starr. He wouldn't do that.
He's a stand-up guy. He would never cheat. I can't even say it with a straight face. But whatever. Yeah. One thing I wrote was just how fun it was to watch Chuck Mambo. But there was a spot where David told Chuck he had to wait outside the ring for 11 seconds because he ate a banana. And so he couldn't come back in the ring for 11 seconds. And it's just, like, little shit like that, speaking of David Starr not cheating or using heel methods, that I just love David Starr. He's always doing crafty, like, smart heel moves, rather than, like, Trevor Lee-style heel moves, which I also love, where he just gets pissed and starts cheating and going crazy. So, and then was the slow motion running sequence, which might be, like, my favorite thing I've seen in wrestling all year. That's gonna get me so much hate. Like, we've had such good matches. And, like, Okada putting on classics, and I'm like, you know what I love? David Starr's slow motion running into a slow motion dive outside of the ring onto Chuck Mambo. But the fact
Not
that
once, but
twice,
twice.
and that's a shout out to the crowd, who was awesome for chanting one more time, because otherwise we wouldn't have gotten it again. So it was great. That was my favorite, though. They literally even did the slow motion dive where they, like, caught each other all slow. It was ridiculous. It was so funny. And then David Starr suspended the no running rule for, like, 5 seconds so that he could run around the ring and do what he wanted to do. Slips on a fucking banana peel from the banana Chuck ate and wipes out. Like, I could not love this match more. If you try. I literally can't think of, like, one thing that I could add in and be like, that would make this match even better. It was perfect. Like, from start to finish, just perfect. So it had to be number one for me. But
So
eventually...
we forgot to add that I think they put the Baywatch theme into, like, the slow motion running.
They did. They played, like, they played the song and everything. Like, go out of your way to watch it. I said that on the Match of the Day post for it. Like, this match was amazing. It's one of my favorite matches I've seen all year. I don't care. It's my preference. I love it. It's so good. But eventually Chuck Mambo finally got tired of Starr's rules and just went crazy and started doing whatever he wanted and got fired up. And it was such a good comeback sequence from him, like, listening and, like, being goofy and playing within the rules with David Starr. And the reason it came about was because David Starr destroyed a beach ball. And so Chuck Mambo got pissed and said that he is a phony because he destroyed the beach ball and fun. And so he came back and ended up picking up a win over who I called sexy heel lifeguard David Starr in a really great match. And that was easily my favorite. I was a huge fan of it. So shout out to Riptide Wrestling. The whole night one of Brighton Spirit was great. And shout out to Kyla for telling me to watch it. Because now I love Riptide Wrestling. I've got to watch the second one for the next podcast.
Right.
Alright, so on to your five.
So I guess it's my turn to go through my list.
It is.
So, starting at number 5, it shouldn't really be a surprise to anybody because it's Chuck Taylor's involved, and everyone knows, like, I'm a huge Best Friends fan. We both are. She's got the Dustin and Greg shirt on. So this match is Kota Ibushi, Shane Strickland, and Flip Gordon versus Chuck Taylor, Rocky Romero, and Ospreay. I will just say, like, I was really happy about this match, just being the fact that not only are we seeing Chuck and Rocky team, the fact that we're seeing Will Ospreay versus Kota, which is something that Will has said numerous times that he really has wanted. To the fact that he said he would, like, copy Kota's moves just to get his attention to try to get him to wrestle him. So this match was very... Yeah, this match was very much a tease of that. And, like, I just want more. I just need an actual singles match between these two because they would absolutely murder each other, and I'm here for it.
Me and Kyla are all about murder, guys.
Yeah, basically. Sorry.
You're okay.
Oh, and also, I love that, like, chaos, like, any, like, form of, like, chaos, like, teaming together, they're always on the same page. Like, they always know exactly when to strike each other, and they know who's gonna distract the ref, and, like, when to, like, actually attack the other opponent. It's crazy that, like, they just are on that level at all times, that they just go at it.
That's true. I've definitely come around to chaos more in the past few months, because I was real into LIJ, like Bullet Club and Suzuki-gun, and this is also going to get me hate, but Bullet Club might be like my number 4 stable in New Japan now, so...
Yeah, I mean...
Oops.
I can't disagree. It's like my factions change all the time. I don't know. This whole feud, we'll get into it later, but the whole feud of Bullet Club is going downhill for me. Also, we got the most devastating body slam ever in the world by Chuck Taylor onto Shane Strickland. Not only did we get it once, but we got it 3 times because the crowd egged it on, and I was so happy because he just gave in and gave us like the best body slam ever.
I don't know how Shane Strickland is still alive.
I don't know, man. I don't know why he's not in a wheelchair right now. Like, it's devastating. Oh, and I just like to point out, this is one of my comments. It says, this Chuck versus Coda for a moment is making me die because I'm thinking of the comments made in the Best Friends interview.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched that interview yet, you gotta go watch it, but...
Yeah. But basically, I think it was Marty DeRosa's girlfriend said Kota Ibushi looks like a sex doll that came to life. And so that's what she was talking about. So they were talking about how Ibushi has a rubber face.
Yeah, everyone agreed. He looks like a sex doll came to life.
And also, while Kyla's looking for notes, she texted me while I was driving, Kota Ibushi is a sex doll that came to life. And I thought she meant that was supposed to be his gimmick, and I just didn't know all this time. I was shook. I was like, you are fucking kidding me. There's no way. But no, it was just best friends. I should have known better.
Also, I would like to have more like Rocky versus Shane because they did like a really good. They started out the match and it was like really good build. And it was surprising because usually Rocky is kind of like the funny dude, but like he really held his own in like against Shane, and I would like to see them actually like a proper match against each other. And this leads into my another thing is how long can Rocky actually do the forever clotheslines? Like, has anyone ever like tested that? Like, how long he can actually go for?
We need to tweet him
Is it
and
really
ask him.
forever? Alright, and then I'm gonna go on to my third match, which is Will Ospreay versus Kushida.
Another one that I didn't watch.
It's okay. I watched it for us.
You did.
First off, where can I get the anti-gravity spell that they have? Because I swear these two, like, everyone in New Japan just has this spell that they use, that they can just fly around, and I don't know where they get it, but I need it in my life.
It's true.
And I liked how the match started, because it started like a slow build with just mainly, like, technical wrestling, like a lot of submissions and stuff, not like a lot of, like, high-flying stuff, and I think that was mainly because of Will still kind of being injured. And I think it really allows them to show both of those guys, like, they're not just flippy dudes, like, they can actually do submission wrestling and technical wrestling and actually, like, bring that to the table, and, like, that's the majority of what the match was. It wasn't really, like, a lot of, like, high-flying spots, which was nice to see in an Ospreay and Kushida match.
Yeah, and then, Kushida's real good at submissions, especially, so.
Yeah. And I liked, even though I knew the results of the match, I liked how it really built you into thinking Kushida was actually going to win. Because, like, he dominated the majority of the match. And I was like, Kushida's going to win. And then I just remembered, like, oh, wait, he doesn't win. So it kind of like, disappointed me. And I was actually kind of, like, rooting for Kushida, even though I knew the results.
Yeah, I feel like that was one of the hardest parts for us, was we didn't watch New Japan Live this time, so it was way easier to get behind. And then you knew the results, and you're like, okay, I'll watch it eventually, but we just didn't, so we will.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is with Will, but he still wants to do those ring apron spots, and I don't know.
He's always gonna do them.
It's crazy, like, you nearly died, and you're still out here, like, with a half-broken neck, basically. Like, wanting to do these.
That's the wrestling mantra. Like, if you're not willing to die, I guess, for wrestling.
Exactly.
Why are you doing it, I guess?
Oh, and there was also this really cool spot where, Will caught Kushida, in midair and, spun him in a circle, and I swear Kushida was, in the air for, 3 seconds, just, spinning in a circle, and then, he face planted, and I was just like, how?
I need to watch
that even happen?
Yeah, I really need to watch that match.
It was so good.
I'm slapping.
And then I really liked Will Ospreay did a 450, and then right when the 3 count, Kushida grabbed the bottom rope, so it was like a nice, like last minute, like I got this, and he's gonna make it through it. And then of course, Will hits the Stormbreaker finisher, and which is amazing.
It is a good finisher. Yeah, it's a really good one. Rest in peace, Oscutter. I'll miss you.
Right.
Maybe we'll still see it sometimes. But it's better that he's not going to die, so.
Yeah, it's better to protect the neck and not, like, get injured.
Yeah.
Alright, and then my second match is Juice versus Goto. My first note, actually, is Battle of Two Weird Tight Bros, because they both have weird tights. So I just thought
they really do. I don't think anyone tops Juice's ring gear, like, ever, so.
So I'd like to point out that I think Juice really needs a lot more singles matches. He doesn't get a lot of time to actually have the spotlight to himself when he's in these multi-man matches, which is really sad because he's such an amazing wrestler. He's grown so much since NXT and being in New Japan. It makes me really happy to see like what Juice was and then where he is now.
Yeah, I agree. Juice has really grown.
And I will admit, I was one of the people that was like sleeping on Juice. Like I was like, he's just a weird guy with weird tights.
Yeah, we both
but
were.
Then, yeah. And then I saw him in like his match against Naito, and then I saw him in this match, and I was just like blown away. Like, why aren't we seeing him in more like title runs and pictures? And hopefully we're gonna see more of that now. We'll get into that theory later. But I like how like Juice is like he plays a lot to the crowd. I've noticed like he'll get like really like gets them like behind him, and he like really understands to like the ring psychology of like, oh, they're not cheering for me right now, but I'm gonna flip it up and like get them on my side again. Which I really like.
Definitely.
And I know I'm talking a lot about Juice right now, but it's so rare to get him in these singles matches, and it's really proving himself in. And I get that it's been a while since Goto has been in a title match as well, but we all know Goto is insanely talented. And I feel like he's reached the point of being one of the guys in New Japan that kind of like passes the torch on to the younger guys.
Yeah, it's true.
But Juice is like really holding his own in the whole entire match. And it's like really, a lot of times, it was a lot of close calls. Like, I really could have saw Juice actually win the title. Like, there's a lot of times where I thought, oh, he has it. Like, he's gonna beat Goto for this title. And I have really high hopes for Juice this year. And I'm just gonna call it right now. I think he'll have some kind of gold by Wrestle Kingdom. I think he's gonna hold it. I don't know if he'll hold it like entire time to Wrestle Kingdom, but I feel like he's gonna at least win before Wrestle Kingdom. Or at Wrestle
I hope so.
That's
maybe at Wrestle Kingdom.
I really feel like he's got this. And then we go on to my number one match.
Okay.
Which I tried really hard not to just gush all over Jay White. I did my best, okay, guys? I did.
I'm proud of you, personally.
I like the nice, slow start of it. It reminded me a lot of the other Young Lions matches that they've had in the past. It was very, like, technical wrestling. And I really, really, really was happy that Finlay, like, finally started showing an aggressive side. I feel like that's what he was lacking in, like, me enjoying his matches, because he was just kind of like, man, I'm here wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't have anything that really grabbed my attention at all. And he actually, like, in this match, it actually made him seem more like a competition rather than just, like, because usually when I saw Finlay in a match, I'd just be like, he's gonna lose. But in this match, it was like, he easily could have won. I know I've said that like at every single match so far, but I feel like he could easily have taken the title from Jay, and a lot of times because he's showing that aggressive side. But I think he showed it too much and got like too in his own head basically, and got And Jay saw that and was like, I'm gonna feed off that.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, I know Sam mentioned earlier with Trevor Lee with his his deadlift German suplexes. Jay White and his deadlift German suplexes are like my life. Like, that's all I need in life is just those.
I love a deadlift German suplex. They're so good.
It's so good. Especially when they can do like the bridge afterwards.
Yeah, that's the best. That's like my favorite when Zack Sabre Jr. transitions into like his bridge. It's the best.
And I really like there was a point in the match where Finley was trying to get the spear in, but Jay like kept like falling over, and like Finley would have to go like march over to him, pull Jay back up, and like try to get him set up like, and just Jay just kept falling over. I'm just like, Jay is playing him like so hard. Like he did the same thing in the Kenny Omega match when he kept getting hit with the V triggers. Like he would just fall over, and at the point like where Kenny had to tie him up in the ropes just to get him to stay up for like the V trigger, but I feel like that he's really good at mind games. Like Jay like really knows how to like really play against his opponent.
Yeah.
And once he finally hit the spear, I literally wrote he could murder everyone in a 10-mile radius with that spear because like it's so brutal. Like Edge too, like it's so brutal. I'm probably gonna get hate for that comment, but anyways.
We're always just racking up that heat.
Right? And then he does a really terrible Blade Runner on Jay, which I think was like really bad. Like it was like looked like what I would look like if I tried to do a Blade Runner on somebody, which I really like because obviously you don't want someone else doing a Blade Runner and then like winning a match because then that's Jay's finisher and obviously he's gonna hit it perfectly and like win.
Yeah.
And and my like one of my last comments is I feel like Finley still kind of has that young lion mentality. Like he doesn't really have anything that's his own. He doesn't really have like his own like finisher really. He's really like he's finally getting it. Like he's using the spear a lot more, which is nice. But I feel like he's still kind of using like what he has from the young lion days, not really being his own person.
Yeah.
And then my very last comment is Jay has an unbelievable way of countering anybody's finisher and changing into a Blade Runner. It blows my mind. He literally caught a stunner in midair and caught Finley and turned it into a Blade Runner and finished the match. And I was just like, I don't understand how you like counter into a Blade Runner because a Blade Runner like you gotta like set him up just right. And I was like, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I really need to watch that match. I'm a mess. I'm really excited though to watch it.
So good. But yeah, and I just want to say I called it. I called it a month ago. Finley was not gonna win.
Yeah, she
and
did.
And now we're getting Jay versus Juice.
Yeah, which will lead us into our next thing that Kyla's going to lead. So, we have some New Japan conspiracy theories, so buckle in. It's not aliens, but it's fun.
Could be aliens. You never know. Gato could be an alien.
I can't argue that. That could be accurate. Honestly. Who knows? Or Okada, for that matter.
Have you ever seen Gato and an alien in the same room together?
I haven't. I haven't either. Shook. You just changed my whole life view. Alright. Hit us with your conspiracy theories.
Alright, so we're gonna start off first with, since we're just talking about Jay White, we both kind of came up with this together. There was a GIF that was posted online from one of the Road 2 shows, and I want to think it's like the first one that they had. It was when Jay White teamed with Rocky and Roppongi 3K. And in that match, Jay actually did like their little like finger like handshake thing. I don't really know what it's called. But he did it with them, which is kind of surprising because Jay's always been very standoffish with certain members of Chaos. Like, for example, every time he teams with like Okada, Will Ospreay, and Goto, and they do the thing after they like attack somebody, he never does it, which is
Yeah.
weird. But then he's gonna go and do the hand gesture with Roppongi 3K. So we have this theory that Jay's gonna be the reason that possible in faction rivalry like matches. Um, and even when he first joined Chaos, he's been threatening Okada that he's gonna win the title from him.
Yeah.
Like in the press conference, he called Okada out and was like, "How long have you been champion?" And Okada didn't know. Like he really didn't know like how long like his like days were. And like he was like basically fun of him like, you got a champion that doesn't even know how long he's been champion, and there's your problem. So we all know that he basically wants the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, which
Yeah.
who wouldn't, honestly. But
Yeah.
so I really feel like he's gonna start off kind of slowly like separating people away from Chaos
Yeah.
and Okada.
We definitely think there's going to be a Chaos split. Like, the way we are getting the Bullet Club kind of split between the Elite and the OG, that's totally going to happen with Chaos. We're calling it. Kyla came up with it first, I agree.
But it's really interesting because, and I like we even like tried to talk about it earlier. We were talking about how who would actually join Jay and who would stay with Okada, and we really think that Rocky, Trent, and Chuck and them will stay with Okada, but we think Sho and Yo might be a little shady because they were young lions together.
Yeah.
They actually like grew up in the didn't grow up in the dojo, but they actually like worked.
They were born and molded in that goddamn dojo. They never knew a life outside of New Japan.
So he's not even from New Zealand. He was born in the dojo. They made him there.
Was
Showing you. That's our conspiracy theory.
They're actually just sculpted out of clay, guys. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
It's Gato's
But,
alien powers.
So we actually think that Sho and Yo might be shady and team with Jay White.
Yeah, I think that eventually, if this comes to pass, they'll definitely turn heel on Rocky and go with Jay White, who will be leader of his own faction. So, like, the true form of Chaos, in my opinion, because for a faction named Chaos, they're pretty tame. They don't really do anything,
Yeah.
like, in that name. So, I definitely think Trent, Chuck, Ospreay, Rocky, like, most of Chaos would stay with Okada, but I can see Jay splitting off with Sho and Yo and starting his own faction and maybe pulling people from other factions, which you'll actually see in my booking for our wrestler, how we do our indie wrestler booking. But is there anything else for New Japan conspiracies? Yeah, you do. You have more.
Yeah. And just to add like one more extra thing, like if you notice, Jay's been like messing with the young lions a lot more. So it wouldn't be surprising if he does split off with Chaos, that he brings those young lions that he's been like kind of messing with occasionally during the matches and bring them into his Chaos after they're done with their training. So it's kind of interesting.
That is interesting. See, I just saw it as him being more heel than Chaos. Like, it reminds me of how Suzuki-gun, like, every time they come out, you're like, oh, these poor young lions are about to get just destroyed. Like, I feel like when Jay went to Chaos, we were all like, okay, like, he seems like he'd be a better fit for Suzuki-gun. And now I feel like we're starting to see, like, okay, Jay is, like, creeping into Chaos and breaking them up from inside, and he's gonna have his own heel faction. So,
Yeah.
I'm excited. I've really come around to Jay. I think he's awesome, so I'm definitely excited. We also, obviously, we all pretty much see it coming now, but Kyla called it first. We're gonna get Juice versus Jay for the title. It's gonna happen, guys.
Yeah. I have called this back in April. I can bring up the tweets. I have the receipts. I called it. And I've been like telling everybody this for a long time. I even said it in the first podcast. So it's finally happened. We had the Finlay versus Jay match. Jay retained. So now we're like kind of getting ready for Jay versus Juice, and it was awesome because after that match, they were in a multi-man match, and they walked out, and Jay just kept, like, almost attacking Juice, and then he, like, even when he left the ring, he, like, went back and just, like, eyeballed Juice, and just, like, walked away with the title above his head, like, basically, like, saying, like, I'm challenging you. And then Juice responded with, like, he's ready anytime Juice wants, or anytime Jay wants to dance. That was his words, that he was ready. He's got his dancing shoes all the time. He's ready to battle.
Which I like
and that's
that...
What,
sorry. I like that Jay's a little different, and that he, like, toys with his prey rather than people coming out and challenging him. Jay is, like, constantly fucking with people and trying to get people pissed off at him. And I like that. I like that he's more of, like, a in-your-face heel rather than, like, a cowardly, like, heel.
Yeah. And, like, another thing, like, just to mention, to kind of go back on the first theory, I'm kind of jumping around because I just remembered this, but when he went out there and, like, held the belt over Juice, he originally was walking back to the back with Yoshihashi, and Yoshihashi was like, oh, let's go get Goto because he's still out there. And Jay was like, no, go to the back. And, like, basically sent Yoshihashi to the back and just left Goto, like, at the ringside, like, dead on the ground, basically. Yeah. So, like, it's kind of, like, feeds to that because, like, you kind of got that split. Like, he's like, no, I'm your leader. Go. He even called himself, like, he's not the leader, not yet, when he did the backstage preview with Best Friends.
Yeah.
Because Trent was like, you're not the leader. And he's like, not yet.
Yeah. I definitely think we're going to see, like, in a new school versus, like, old school chaos, like, forming.
Yeah.
And by, like, old school, I don't mean their own.
Like, yeah, even if it's not even, like, in, like, a way that they're, like, fighting within each other, it could just be, like, Jay betrays them and just leaves and then just makes his own faction.
Yeah, well, that's what I think is going to happen.
To leave with them, he's with them. It couldn't be just, like, instead of just having, like, how Bullet Club is, like, within the faction, it could just be, like, we're actually leaving.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a split. I don't think it'll be, like, Bullet Club Part 2. I think they're going to actually split off and Jay will lead his own faction and eventually challenge whoever has the title. I don't think Okada's going to have it for too much longer. That's just me. Wishful thinking every time that he has a match. I love Okada, but god damn it, I want you to drop that title so bad. Like,
I agree.
Thirsty as hell for you to lose. I can't wait.
And, like, what makes me so upset about it is the fact that, like, I really feel like the next person that holds the title is going to be a transitional champion. Like, it's not even going to hold the title long enough. I feel like whoever wins it is going to go on a challenge with Naito. And then Naito's going to win it, and then we get Okada versus Naito again.
I feel bad because I hope so, but sorry,
no, I hope
Penny.
so too. It just sucks if it has to be Omega. Like, I would really want Omega to have a good title run, but it's going to suck if he's, like, a transitional champion.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Omega. You know I love you. But I want Naito to be champion real bad.
Me too.
So,
sorry.
Let's do our bookings.
Oh, yeah.
So, who are you gonna draw while I do my booking?
Oh, jeez. We didn't decide. Who should I draw?
You should draw Rocky with his forever clotheslines. With wondering how long he can do them.
Alright, so you're gonna do the booking first while I draw?
Yeah. Okay. So, for people who maybe didn't tune in last week, one segment that we do, well, two in this case, is a day before we give each other a random indie wrestler, and then we have to try and book the one that we gave each other in New Japan, like how we think that they should be booked. So just for fun. And then Kyla draws amazing artwork that we then tag the wrestlers in and ask them to rate the artwork. And no one has yet, so shout out to MJF who ignored it.
Thanks, boy.
True heel work. You're the best.
You're, like, the best heel in the world.
Yeah, he really is. MJF really is. But Kyla gave me Keith Lee, since we all know he's probably leaving us. All of the signs are in place. He's supposedly signed with WWE, so we're giving him one last love booking out the door. So, what I started with is that Keith Lee shocks everyone by coming out at Dominion with Jay White and interfering in the Omega vs. Okada match, and causes Okada to lose the heavyweight title to Omega. And then everyone is stunned, including Kenny, who's happy to have won the title, but didn't want to win it in that way after 3 brutal rounds with Okada. And
so far, I'm already here for it.
yes, this is a 6-page booking, guys. I apologize. I really love Keith Lee in New Japan. So, then Omega calls out Jay White in the post-match comments and warns him that he'll get revenge for White ruining Omega vs. Okada 4 in what should have been the definitive ultimate match between the two. And we see a big confrontation between a weakened Okada from his match versus Omega with White and Lee while he's on the ground, like, kind of furthering into that Jay White-Okada feud, and Lee is backing up White, and then the other members of Chaos have to pull them apart, so we kind of get to see who sides with who through that sequence, because they're pulling them away from each other, and you see who's kind of, like, trying to calm Jay down, and who's trying to calm Okada down. And so then Keith Lee announces that he actually signed a full-time contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling, not WWE, and officially makes his wrestling debut with the company at the G1 Climax, where he joins Chaos, but it's not announced by Okada that he's joining Chaos. It's announced by Jay White that he's joining Chaos, which furthers the plans of Jay White splitting Chaos in 2 and having his own faction, and aligns his own powerhouse guy, like how Okada has Ishii, he has Keith Lee on his side. And so Keith Lee has a really strong G1 tournament debut with a lot of dominating performances, beating some of the other bigger powerhouse guys like Fale and Evil, and ends up facing Ishii in the B-Block finals, where Ishii ends up getting the better of Lee, because we know we can't have Lee coming into New Japan and just winning it all right away. But post-G1, Keith Lee becomes a version of what Bad Luck Fale was to Finn Balor when he started Bullet Club, and is like his right-hand man, and the two work together to cause even more turmoil and chaos, until the group officially splits, with White leading what he calls the true form of chaos, with Lee as his right-hand man, and Sho and Yo turn heel on Rocky, like we were saying, and end up joining White and Lee in their own version of chaos. And Okada leads the remaining members of, like, the old school Chaos who stuck by him, and tensions get really bad between the two Chaos, because Okada's obviously pissed that he brought Jay White in, and Jay White turned on him and formed his own faction. And Keith Lee then challenges Goto, who I'm saying is going to retain the Never title against Taichi and Elgin at Dominion. And Keith Lee challenges him for the title that will be defended at Destruction. And Jay White defends the US title against Juice at Destruction, but Omega gets his revenge as promised and causes Jay White to lose the title to Juice, and sets up Omega versus White 2, but this time for the heavyweight title that Omega holds. And so the two are going to clash at the King of Pro Wrestling show for New Japan. But Omega wins, but White looks oddly satisfied, and no one knows why, until Ibushi comes out, and people think it's to celebrate with Kenny, but actually, Ibushi turns heel on Kenny Omega, and reveals that he's joining Jay White's form of chaos, and that he wants to challenge Kenny Omega for the heavyweight title. And so at the King of Pro Wrestling show, we also get to see Okada versus Keith Lee in a non-title grudge match, because Okada cuts a promo that the Never belt is too beneath him, and he doesn't even want Keith Lee's title. He just wants to get revenge for Keith Lee ruining their match still with the Okada Omega 4. And so Lee and Okada put on an amazing match, where Lee just barely manages to get the win over Okada. And after the match, White comes out to support Lee, and Okada and White get in each other's faces, and Jay White and Keith Lee attack Okada post-match and cut a promo cementing themselves, Ibushi, and Sho and Yo as the new form of chaos, who want to bring the group to life and make it worthy of that name, and Ibushi makes it clear that he will be coming for Kenny Omega's title. Meanwhile, on the other side of New Japan, Naito drops the Intercontinental title to Zack Sabre Jr. at the King of Pro Wrestling show, and makes it clear he only has the heavyweight title on his mind. And so at Power Struggle, Lee retains the Never title against Fale, Zack Sabre Jr. retains the Intercontinental title against Tanahashi, White faces Cody Rhodes in a singles match and wins, and after their match, Marty reveals that he's turning on Bullet Club and also going to join Chaos because he wants to bring back the true villain character, and he feels like he can only do that in this new heel faction. And so Omega faces Naito for the heavyweight title at Power Struggle and loses the title to Naito, which leads to Omega versus Ibushi in a special singles match at Wrestle Kingdom 13. We also see Okada using a win in the G1 tournament, so I'm claiming that Okada's going to win the G1 this time instead of Naito, and he'll challenge Naito for the heavyweight title. Lee will defend the Never title against Ishii to culminate in that Chaos vs. Chaos feud at Wrestle Kingdom 13, and Marty Scurll will face Ospreay for the junior title, and will win it again and put things back on track. And then Jay White will be facing Zack Sabre Jr. for the Intercontinental title at Wrestle Kingdom 13. And Naito will retain the heavyweight title and get his moment. And so when White wins the Intercontinental title from Zack Sabre Jr., Marty Scurll wins the junior title from Ospreay, and Lee retains his Never title. We see the new version of Chaos looking like the stronger version of Chaos and really taking over. And so we see Okada challenge White for the Intercontinental title to keep Okada still in that title picture as well, because we're not going to have the longest reigning heavyweight champion, like, of all time, just fade into obscurity. But then we get, finally, after Wrestle Kingdom, when we're kind of wrapping up some of these, we get the Okada, Jay White, bloody vicious feud for the Intercontinental title instead. So, Keith Lee is an important part of it. He's tangentially important. But that's my booking for Keith Lee and how he would affect New Japan, and why he should go to New Japan full-time instead of WWE. So now it's Kyla's turn.
I am shook. I am devastated.
I knew you would really like it.
I love all of it.
I really got into it.
Gordon Lovers split. It hurt, but it's gonna happen.
It will.
Alright, so do I show my drawing now, or do I do my booking then show the drawing?
Do your booking and then show the drawing.
Okay. Gotta let it dry.
I'm so excited for your booking.
Alright, so, funny enough, we actually gave each other 2 people with Lee as their last names.
Yeah, we did. And we
didn't even realize until last night when we were talking. Yeah. So, I will say Sam's, super out there, long and, very detailed. Mine is more here's, a weird fan fiction. So,
there's
here we
nothing
go.
wrong with that.
So, I have Trevor Lee. I don't think I said that, but I have Trevor Lee. So Trevor Lee will show up to New Japan, completely unannounced and out of nowhere. It will be at the beginning of a match between Okada and Naito when he arrives. It's at a Corgan Hall match, so it's not a big deal, it's just a random match. Right before the bell rings, you hear the most country music ever hit, and everyone is confused and quiet. Soon the camera pans over to the entrance, and you see Trevor in all his glory. And by all his glory, I mean shirtless in black plain trunks. He has a mic, and he goes on to introduce himself as the best wrestler that has ever graced a New Japan ring, even though he hasn't ever been in a New Japan ring. He even threw in his $1 million TV deal, because he's a TV star and everyone must know and bask in his glory.
They better.
Still, no one bats an eye at this strange country boy who is boasting about his amazing in-ring skills. Trevor decides to insert himself into the match because he has that ability. So he's making it a 3-way match. He holds his own for a while, but is soon pinned by Naito. This isn't the end of Trevor in New Japan. No, this is just the beginning. At first, Trevor will show up whenever he pleases. He won't join a faction in the beginning. He'll just team up with anyone he sees fit, but anytime his team loses, he'll blame his partner not being the best, and that Gato is placing him with low-class wrestlers. This remains the story till he's teamed with IWGP US Heavyweight Champion Jay White. I love how we both have Jay White in our bookings. Just saying.
We really do.
The two seem like long-lost brothers and have an insane bond in the ring. Basically kind of like golden lovers. They're kind of on that weird, nice. In-sync level.
I like that. I can see it.
They have an ultimate goal to take over New Japan. Things go well for Jay and Trevor until one night when they are facing Evil and Sonata for the heavyweight tag titles. Of course, Jay's going to multi-titles, because why not? The match is filled with close calls and suddenly, boom, 1, 2, 3. Jay was pinned by Sonata while Trevor was outside the ring. This was it for Trevor. He knew what must be done, and he turned on Jay and challenged him for the title. Jay accepts. They agree to face at Wrestle Kingdom 13. During this match at Wrestle Kingdom, everyone thought Trevor would lose because, let's be honest here, Trevor never won a match in New Japan except against Yano, and that was a DQ. The match at Wrestle Kingdom begins with a signature Trevor Lee promo that lasts about 15 minutes until Jay just can't take it anymore and attacks. The match is full of amazing technical wrestling that surprises everyone with how well Trevor was. No one has seen this side of Trevor, and half the crowd began to cheer for the Carolina Caveman. It almost an endless amount of near falls, 1, 2, 3, and your new IWGP US Heavyweight Champion Trevor Lee. For the first time ever, the Wrestle Kingdom crowd is silent. Everyone is shocked. Women and children are crying. They can't believe Trevor Lee. After winning the title, Trevor stands alone in the ring. He takes the mic and lets everyone know that he is the best wrestler in the world, that he is worth $1 million because he is a TV star, and no one here is deserving of him. With that, Trevor Lee decides to relinquish the title so that he may, in his own words, be the only undefeated IWGP US Heavyweight Champion. And his music hits and the crowd slow claps his departure, and he's never seen in New Japan again.
I'm crying laughing, I'm fucking dead.
That's my booking.
I love it. There are literal tears in my eyes. Just from laughing. Holy shit. How did you, capture Trevor's whole essence in that booking? Oh, my heart. I need life alert. That was so good.
I need it. Book it, Gato. I'm gonna email it to Gato. I don't know his email, but I'll email it to him.
Can you please? Translate it to Japanese and send it to Gato.
Just send it through, Google Translate, so it's, all, wrong. And he's, really confused.
And he's just what? What is a Carolina
And he thinks
caveman?
it means... He thinks I mispronounced or miswrote it, so it's Keithley, so he ends up signing Keithley and books Keithley that way.
Yeah, and then I sent him my fucked up description through Google Translate. Alright. Show us your drawing, I'm excited.
Okay. So I titled this as Can Rocky Really Forever Clothesline for Forever? And then, you got him running into his opponent, And then the guy's like, how long can he go for? And he just keeps going. Just keeps going.
Forever.
For forever.
Oh my god. I love it.
So I'm excited.
Some nice...
Also, I don't know why, but like the ring post is taller than the guy on accident, but
Fuck it. That's our ring post.
yeah, that's how our ring posts and our
yeah,
rings are. They're gonna be like 10 feet high.
Yeah, we're
so
unique.
No one...
It's gonna be the craziest top rope dives you've ever seen. They have to climb
unless
that
David
shit
Starr is there.
with a ladder. Yeah, unless David Starr is there. Or Drew Gulak.
Alright, so now I take a picture of it and I'm going to send it to Rocky.
Yeah, she's gonna do that while I actually do our closing segment. So from now on, we're gonna take turns doing a spotlight on an up-and-coming indie wrestler, where we're gonna tell you a little bit about them and give like a list of like about 10 matches, usually, that you can check out for them. This idea came about because I was talking about Myron Reed, actually, so he's going to be my first spotlight for an indie wrestler, because I was telling my friend Magnet, who's one of our biggest supporters and has really helped push us along, so shout out to Magnet. You're the best, and you've really helped out Powerbomb Girls just by supporting us and being really positive. So this Myron Reed spotlight is partially because I was telling you to watch some of his matches, and because he's one of my favorite up-and-coming wrestlers. I think he's amazing. So here it is. So first off, Myron Reed, if you've never seen him, is more of like a high-flying wrestler. He's really fast, and he's only 20 years old. So he's 20 years old and has only been wrestling for about 2 years, and he's already amazing. So when you already think about that and think about where he's going to go from here, it's insane. Like, Myron Reed is going to definitely be one of like the top wrestlers, I feel like, in the entire business in a few years, and he's already well on his way. But he was trained by Michael Elgin, among others, but that's like one of the main ones. And his nickname is Hot Fire, and he comes to the ring usually in like red gear. His hair is always really cool too. Like last time I saw him at AAW, it was blonde with like red fire like painted into it. He's awesome. His whole look is really cool as well. But he debuted March 23rd, 2016. So like I was saying, it's only a little over 2 years and he's already kind of taking over. He wrestles for a lot of promotions already and is out there killing it for AAW, Glory Pro, CZW, PWR, so Pro Wrestling Revolver, AIW, and IWAMS. And he's also wrestled for WrestleCircus a few times. So hopefully we'll get to see WrestleCircus come back soon. We really miss them here. It's really sad that they don't have a venue, but we're hoping that they'll be back soon, and maybe then we'll get more Myron Reed matches there. And in AAW, he tag teams with AR Fox, who is a really awesome mentor for someone like Myron Reed for sure, because AR Fox is so talented. He's one of the best high flyers on the independent scene for sure as well, so it's been really cool seeing him team up with Myron Reed in AAW. They just had a title match for the AAW Tag Team Championships against our other favorite tag team, Besties in the World. That was really good. So you guys will see that on High Spots in a few months, I'm sure. It was a really good match. He also tag teams with Trey Miguel in CZW. And him and Trey Miguel are part of that whole, like, OI4K kind of, like, family with Pro Wrestling Revolver. So it's always cool seeing them work together. And he was also already the Glory Pro Crown of Glory champion for a while before dropping the title to Jake Something. So he's already accomplished a lot for only being 2 years in the business. So I'm real excited to see where he goes from here, because Myron Reed is insanely talented. So here are some matches that you can check him out so you can see that I'm not just crazy and talking about how great he is for no reason. I'm also going to write them down in the actual description on YouTube. So if you're listening to the podcast, you can always just go to the YouTube channel to find the actual match list. And I may post it on Twitter as well. So make sure you're following the Twitter account. But one was recently at the CZW Best of the Best show, and it was a 3-way match with Myron Reed, Trey, Miguel, and Zachary Wentz. So you have 3 of the best guys on the independent scene going head-to-head, which is awesome. My first show, actually, was AAW Epic, which is where I went to my first live independent show and saw him. And it was Myron Reed versus his partner, AR Fox. At AAW Chaos Theory, which we just kind of talked about some of their matches, he had a really awesome match, just one-on-one with him and Trey Miguel. And one of Kyla's notes was, how do they flip so high? Or something along those lines.
Hold on, I'll find it.
It's a really good match. It was really fast-paced and really showed how good both of them are, because Trey Miguel's another one that's super talented in the indie scene. So let's have Kyla find her note really fast.
Oh, it says, how the fuck do they reach the heights that they do?
Yeah, so I thought that was really funny. So I just had to put her on the spot there. And then another match was the AAW Windy City Classic from 2017, where we got Dave Crist, Jake Crist, and Sami Callihan versus Myron Reed, Trey Miguel, and Stephen Wolf. So that was a really great tag match. Trey Miguel and Stephen Wolf teamed together all the time in AAW, and it was cool seeing Myron team up with them. We also got Myron Reed versus Flip Gordon, for you Flip Gordon fans out there, at AAW Unstoppable 2017. And we got a really awesome 4-way at WrestleCircus not too long ago. I don't know if you can find it. Probably on Twitch. Look on Twitch and see if you can find it. It's worth checking out. It was Myron Reed versus Andrew Everett versus Teddy Hart versus Zachary Wentz. And they put on a ridiculously good match. That was one of my favorite matches I've seen in a few months as well. We also got to see Myron versus Teddy Hart at AAW Art of War. A really good match. And then we also, you know that we love ACH on this channel. So there's a good match at AAW United We Stand show from 2017, where we got a one-on-one match with Myron Reed versus ACH. And then, if you want to see Myron Reed win the Glory Pro Championship, watch their Long May We Reign show. He had a match versus Jason Kincaid where he won the championship. And then another one would be the match with Jake Something, which was at the Glory Pro show Something Wicked. So, definitely check out those matches. I will post them on Twitter, probably, as well as for sure in the YouTube description. Myron Reed is great. Give him a follow on Twitter at TheBadReed. I'll also post his Twitter info in our description on YouTube. But he's great. He's a really, really talented wrestler. He seems very nice. In any interaction I've ever, had with him, I've been too afraid to meet him in person. Side note, I'm awkward. But please follow Myron Reed. Give him your love. If you're mean to him, Kyla and I will hunt you down.
Side note, so I posted on the Bob-Omb Girls Twitter. My tweet said, "Hey, my dude," at his username. We are big fans, and I made some sick artwork for you. I was wondering if you could rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. And then I said, Kyla. And then I said, P.S. Can you really forever clothesline forever? Then he literally just retweeted it, just it, and replied. So hear his reply, okay? He put the little emoji, and he said...
It's not showing. Is it the smirk one? I feel like he uses the smirk one a lot.
Is the smirk one? Well, it's the little, thinking one. And, dots, and it says 100. So he rates it 100, okay, guys?
We got our first artwork rating. I knew Rocky would come through. Rocky's the best.
Rocky is the best. He deserves, all the love in the world.
He does. Also give Rocky Romero love. But yeah, that was another episode of Bob-Omb Girls. You guys actually got to see the rating of the artwork live, which is cool. That's never happened, because we've never even had someone respond. Because the only artwork we did for the show was for MJF, and in true heel fashion, he didn't respond. And then in true Trevor Lee fashion, he never responded to the amazing artwork we've made for him in the past either. You can look that up on Kyla's Twitter if you want. It's beautiful.
I'll retweet it onto the Bob-Omb Girls.
Yeah, it's also beautiful artwork. That's where this idea came from, so see where it all started. But yeah, it's been great. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any wrestlers you want us to check out, leave it in the comments on YouTube or add us on Twitter, and we will definitely check them out. If you check out Myron Reed, make sure you let us know what you think, and especially send him what you think if it's positive. Because,
send him all the love.
Yeah, he's really talented, he's a really cool, nice person, and it's nice to support indie wrestling and indie wrestlers, so if you like what he's doing, let him know. Give him love. Buy his t-shirts. Support any indie wrestling. Just love it. Don't be an asshole. Don't at people in negative comments. That's your PSA for today with Bob-Omb Girls. And with that, we're going to sign off. So we will see you in 2 weeks for our next show. Bye.